series of guest lectures. And today is the start of first lecture. And we are fortunate enough that my friend Sanjay Deshpande agreed to deliver that first lecture. In fact, I was trying for last semester also, but due to his busy schedule, he could not. By profession, he is a builder. He's a civil engineer and in the construction industry. But other side of his is that he is also environmentalist. And you might have read columns in newspaper about environment. And he is an enthusiast and very much concerned about the tiger population also. Today morning I was talking in a lecture also. So I thought that first-hand information, a love for environment, how does people from the even engineering and other field also can work in a conservation activity. So he regularly visit and of course he will tell you a lot from his presentation. But as a planner, as a background with the civil engineering and architecture, one must understand that the importance of environment. So in sustainable development, we are learning all this. But today, Sanjay will talk about all this activity, and then what is his relationship with us also, and we learn also in the planning also at the regional level when you carry out the regional exercise. There we will tell you about the importance of environment and other things. Of course, in micro level also, that is at the LAP level also, we have to take concern of the environmental issues also. But today, Sanjay will tell you about how does the environment should be brought into the field in the when you are looking towards the town planning. So that is a small introduction from my side. A detailed one, Isha will tell you exactly about his CV also. And I'll stop it here so that you can listen from him.
Sir, I think this introduction is sufficient. No formality there. seriously. Yeah, please.
Okay. So we are also eager. So he will start his.
Thanks, madam. And let me at the start tell you, in my college days, the bigger the CV of a guest, the more the lecture. It was the concept we used to have. And don't consider anybody special as come to a guy who was sitting some 30 years on the last bench. Destinia's body from side of you is all I can say, and take it that way. This is no advice, this is no lecture, this is straightway sharing. Let me be very clear about it. Because, speaking about having opportunity to be here, rather it's my honor, because I couldn't get admission to MTech here. So it's my biggest honor ki institute, which is so esteemed and honored, I get the opportunity to lecture or to share my views to you guys where I couldn't get admission also. But then that is very important aspect of it, because this shows ki it's not about directly from 3 idiots, but it's how you pursue what you have learned defines what you are. Today I can say it because today I am experiencing it. 100 of the times I have been associated with this institute on different forums. But Mayuresh, video presentation, basically because you guys are from planning and environment, and this is one subject you can't explain it in words. It's like somebody, if I ask somebody to explain me Disneyland, who has never been to Disneyland, it will be impossible because it's an experience. Like Ganpatiची मिरवणूक, एखाद्याला शब्दात सांगा म्हटलं आपल्यातली, you have to be in that मिरवणूक, then only you can understand what it is. Same way environment and all these things are there. So I thought it will be more up to make a small presentation. The subject, when I spoke to Pratap sir and team, I am very happy they openly accepted. See, you are lucky to have such teachers who accommodate these concepts, these ideas of the field, because that's how world is changing. I chose the subject एन्व्हायरमेंट इंजिनिअरिंग, टाउन प्लॅनिंग अँड टायगर्स ऑफ ताडोबा. हे अनुराग कश्यपच्या मूवीचं टायटल वाटेल, but it is very much important. After passing engineering with specialization as environments and all those things, I have been working in eco housing and all those things. But when I started some 20 years back working with forest department, because I am from Nagpur, had been associated, most of my childhood trips have been to Tadobas and Meghats and all those things. So I was somehow when come to Pune, पुण्यामध्ये मॅक्झिमम मोठं जंगल म्हणजे महाबळेश्वरचं जंगल वाटतं लोकांना. त्यामुळे ॲक्च्युली वाईल्ड लाईफ काय आहे, आणि वेन आय स्टार्टेड वर्किंग विथ वाईल्ड लाईफ, आय रिअलाइज हाऊ मच इट इज इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर मी ॲज अ सिव्हिल इंजिनियर टू लर्न फ्रॉम दॅट आस्पेक्ट ऑफ नेचर. See, wildlife and forest are direct face of environment. Like environment, you can't. There are, see, environment is a very big term. मी म्हणणं एखाद्याला environment शिकतो मी किंवा planning शिकतो, तर it's impossible to describe, as I say in the earlier. But how you can actually live it. So I thought forest and wildlife is one of the most easy way to learn environment or to understand environment, because let it be very clear. Town planning, urban development, environment engineering, all these things a human have defined, and human is just one of the species of millions of species which exist on this earth. Only because they don't have got CoEP and they don't have got civil engineering degree, they can't define what is environment from their perspective. This, unless and until I would have gone to wildlife, unless and until I have applied my whatever little engineering I have learned to that, it wouldn't have been possible. And I thought that should be the subject which no syllabus of us teaches us anywhere. Don't take it as a syllabus, just take it as a trip, or how you learn, or how you see, or how you watch from that trip. So why Tadoba again? Okay, there are hundreds of jungles in India. One, Tadoba is very close to my native place, which is Nagpur. Two, Tadoba is one of the classic case in the entire world where a species which has gone near extinct some 40 years back, it has revived. तुम्हाला एक गंमत म्हणून एक्झाम्पल सांगतो, एनालॉजी कशी असते, विच इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू इन टाउन प्लॅनिंग लॅटर ऑन ऑल्सो, अँड एन्व्हायरमेंट ऑल्सो. 72 मध्ये जेव्हा वेन प्रोजेक्ट टायगर इंदिरा गांधी लॉन्च्ड, at that time in entire India there were only 1500 tigers. Okay, at that time India's population was some 30 crores. Okay, in the entire world at that time there were 5000 tigers in 72. Okay, this was 50 years back. Now we are in 24. Alone in India there are more than 3500 tigers. When we are calling 3500 tigers, they are grown up tiger. The numbering is measured by camera traps and actual sighting and all those things. And then again, in entire country, entire world, number of tiger is same, 5000. Imagine 50 years back still there were 5000 tigers around in the world in open. जगात सगळ्यात जास्ती टायगर कुठे माहिती आहे तुम्हाला? एनीबडी? अमेरिका. 3500 टायगर ऑल इन कॅप्टिव्हिटी. दॅट नंबरच मोजायचे झाले तर अमेरिकेत सगळ्यात जास्त टायगर आहे, पण सगळे कॅप्टिव्हिटी किंवा झूमध्ये आहेत. विल यू कॉल दॅट ॲज अ टायगर? नो. म्हणजे उद्या असं झालं, पुण्याची पॉप्युलेशन किती आहे? सगळ्यात जास्त कॉन्सन्ट्रेटेड पॉप्युलेशन पुण्याची कुठे आहे? येरोड्या जेलमध्ये. याचं कारण 20 एकरामध्ये 5000 लोक राहतात. विल यू कॉल दॅट ॲज अ पॉप्युलेशन? नो, इट्स फोर्सफुल. सेम वे, if you go only by numbers, it won't work. When I am saying 5000 tigers, captivity is not considered. We are talking about open. The way we planning for humans who are free, not in some jail, right? So, success of our country is की अख्ख्या जगात जेव्हा टायगरची पॉप्युलेशन कमी होत होती, तेव्हा भारतात टायगरची पॉप्युलेशन वाढली. That is very big important aspect, because I will come to that, why it is very big important aspect. Planning angle. 1500 ते 3500 टायगर झाले, पण जगाचे मात्र 5.5 जेव्हा होते तेव्हा 3.5 जे जगातले होते 3,500, it has come to 1,500. So when entire world is at loss, our country succeeded in planning tigers. This is very much neglected aspect from our town planning and environment aspect, because this shows how it is possible. See, when you want to make one tiger survive, one tiger doesn't get survive in the open without food or without habitat and without all those things, which is part of our planning. Like we are town planners. When a human population or human thing prospers or survives or grows, त्याला जेवण पाहिजे, पाणी पाहिजे, जॉब पाहिजे, कपडे पाहिजेत, घरं पाहिजेत, इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर पाहिजे, right? Who is going to do it for tiger? Nobody. On its own, can it do? No. Otherwise, कधीच संपलं असतं. So who could do that? Only humans and planners. Unfortunately, none of the planners were town planners. The success was because of locals, limited knowledge of forest department, which don't have got any clue about what is town planning, and still they could do it. ताडोबाच्या जस्ट बाहेर, आणि म्हणून ताडोबा इज व्हेरी स्पेशल, बिकॉज कमिंग टू न्यूमरोलॉजी, जे 3,500 वाघ भारतात आहेत, त्यातले नियर अबाउट सम 400 आर इन महाराष्ट्र. आउट ऑफ 400, 200 इन एंटायर ओनली चंद्रपूर डिस्ट्रिक्ट. इमॅजिन, 11 कोटी पॉप्युलेशन आहे महाराष्ट्राची, त्यातले त्याच्या पर्सेंटेजमध्ये 400 वाघ जर धरलं तर 0.000020% समथिंग रेशिओ येतो. त्यातला 200 टायगर्स फक्त ताडोबात सर्वाइव्ह झाले. आणि इट इज नॉट इझिली पॉसिबल. इट इज व्हेरी मच डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू प्लॅनिंग. इट इज अनलेस इट इज अ मेटिक्युलस प्लॅनिंग अँड एक्झिक्युटेड, इट वुडंट हॅव बीन पॉसिबल. सो आय टूक ताडोबा ॲज ए subject which is directly related to our subject. I showed you the earlier slide was about Tadoba, and किती एरिया माहिती आहे प्रॅक्टिकल ताडोबाचा? 100 1600 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर, म्हणजे से 4 टाइम पुणे कॉर्पोरेशन. पुण्याची कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिट 425 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर आहे. सो 1600 इज अ ताडोबा प्रोटेक्टेड फॉरेस्ट. नाउ प्रोटेक्टेड फॉरेस्ट, बफर फॉरेस्ट, these are all terminologies defined by humans. Tiger don't understand that. For tiger, wherever is food, there is water, it will go. Okay. So it has become more challenging to plan something for tigers. Some 15 years back, Tadoba was just a 200 square kilometer core area, and they were trying to survive tigers over there. It is very easily. See, core area is nothing but a controlled open jail where humans are not supposed to go. Humans entry are restricted, but tigers can move in and out. But again, problem with tigers is tiger is not a social animal, and it loves, or it is by nature, by default, it is defined as it lives alone. So one tiger requires at least 10 square kilometer area of its own. It won't allow another tiger to come within its territory. If it happens, then it is a fight till death, not WWF dummy fights. Okay. So again a challenge, how you do that. So what they started realizing, expand the forest, give them more space. That's why the buffer concept come. See, these concepts are very much important. Like PMRDA come. PMC and PCMC consider them as a core. Why we needed PMRDA? Because किती वाढवाल पुण्यात सेंटर, the population has to depart, otherwise concentration will kill that center part of the city. Somewhere analogy is applicable to us also in planning. This I realized by going over there. And then what they did, they expanded the forest, knowing them, calling them as a buffer. But then how you displace humans in those buffers? Because in core it is easily possible to maintain that thing, because you can restrict entry of, like the gate. No locals are even allowed in the gate within the core part of forest. How you do it in buffer? In Tadoba buffer, they have declared it buffer, but in the buffer, at least some 60 odd villages are there, and about 1 lakh population is living in the buffer, human population. Tigers are also there. So you have to plan something which we have not yet learned in our syllabus, which is very much part, which should be, it is coexistence. You make humans, you make tigers to live along together. Then and then it is possible. Otherwise you can't displace humans and you can't tame tigers. So every day there will be conflict. And situation is worse. Infrastructure nahi, roads nahi, electricity nahi, and those guys are surviving. Their only means of earnings are some local crops and all those things. And then still tigers are there. Like this lady, when I photographed, this is just outside of Tadoba, and right now, around that shrubs and grass, tigers move. And they have to survive like this. See, this is the scene. आता असं जर सीन आपल्याला दिसला तर आपल्या इथे फक्त भटके कुत्रे दिसतात, दुसरं काही दिसत नाही. सो दिस इज हॅपनिंग अँड नाव दिस इज द सिनेरिओ. म्हणजे इट्स नॉट जस्ट डिअर विच कॅन जम्प बम्प ऑन यू इन द हे. आणि देन सी दिस फोटोग्राफ आय मायसेल्फ ऑफ इट. I was having a cup of tea and suddenly there was a shout, "Sher aaya, sher aaya." I thought it must be some joke. And directly the tiger entered from the road in front of us. So it is very easy to make slogans of save tiger and protect tiger. Imagine what if happens when you are having a cup of tea in your canteen outside and suddenly a tiger comes out of it. And then you say love tiger or save tiger. I was the last one who would say that this time. I was only worried ki who can run faster at that time. And those guys, they are so clearly, they were looking that side. Next screenshot, I deliberately, camera was in my hand and I could click next three shot also. When they came to that zebra crossing, exactly they were going to bump the tiger. And at last moment, they saw the tiger and applied the brake and screamed down. The tiger ran this side, they fall down on that side. So, and trust me, this is a routine in those areas now. This is a routine, and that's why this is what I call coexistence. This is what I call coexistence. Neither the tiger was, and then to maintain the biodiversity. See, human needs. The biggest challenge in front of our urban planning is our ever-growing population and our needs. To make them understand that don't cut the forest because of your needs, because you may not need the forest for survival, but the tiger is going to need it. You can build homes, you can build flats, you can build roads. Tiger is not going to use that. So this is the challenge. Life is extremely tough, and this is where I am going to tell you how it is again correlating us with our planning later on when we come to city part of it. इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज स्टील पुअर. तुम्ही टॉयलेट एक प्रेम कथा बघितला असेल, अक्षय कुमारला भरपूर पैसे पण मिळाले असतील त्यातनं. अनफॉर्च्युनेटली मोस्ट ऑफ द विलेजेस स्टील डोंट हॅव गॉट दॅट अरेंजमेंट. इन द अर्ली मॉर्निंग वुमेन अँड लेडीज हॅव टू ट्रॅव्हल आउट, अँड दॅट्स द टाइम वेअर मोस्ट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हॅपन, बिकॉज animals like tiger and leopards hunt in the early morning. And at that time, when you have to go open into the forest for natural call, you become the easiest prey at that time. Not only that, snakes and all those things are on the road at that time. So maximum snake bites are in Chandrapur district. आता प्लॅनिंगचं फेल्युअर बघा कसं आहे. गव्हर्नमेंट हॅज मेड टॉयलेट्स, बट देर इज नो वॉटर सप्लाय टू डेट टॉयलेट्स. हाऊ द टॉयलेट्स आर गोइंग टू बी युजफुल. आम्ही बांधले की टॉयलेट, व्हॉट इज अबाउट वॉटर सप्लाय टू डेट टॉयलेट्स. इथे लोकांना प्यायला पाणी नाही. So these are all things which we have to understand when you consider when you say planning. The planning should not be only on paper. The planning should not be only in some dreams. It should be a plan which is executable also considering the area of that thing. As I said, these are the things. Now, this is very interesting. When you plan something, environment planning or urban planning, you have to understand the people, you have to understand the mindset, जुन्या चालीरीती, everything matches. Otherwise your plan fail. While I was moving in Tadoba, early days, सगळीकडे मला अशा या मूर्त्या दिसायच्या, अशा भ्रष्ट म्हणजे. सो आय यूज टू से की व्हॉट इज दिस जोक. मग पुढे असं आणि कुठेही म्हणजे रँडम समवेअर इन ऑन रोड, समवेअर ऑन फील्ड, ॲट सम हट्स फ्रंट यार्ड वगैरे वगैरे. आय आस्क अगेन वन थिंग, इफ यू आर अ स्टुडंट ऑफ प्लॅनिंग, be curious and don't be shy about asking questions. Otherwise, unless you don't ask questions, you won't get answers. So this also I learned from there. एक तर आपण शहरी वाटतो त्या लोकांना ते तुमच्याशी लवकर बोलत नाही. So unless and until you don't open up, then they are too shy about speaking about their local things. They think we will, आपण मजाक करू त्यांची हेटाई करू. पण जेव्हा मी सांगतो की मी पण तिथलाच आहे, then dialogue becomes easier. So I asked about what is it, why this mushrooming everywhere. ते म्हणले सर तुमचा विश्वास बसणार आणि तुम्ही सिटीतले लोक. म्हणलं मी पुण्याचा असलो तरी मी तिकडच आहे म्हणून. So then he said की wherever a man has been killed by tiger, his soul should not wander around and disturb others. So we make a statue of that man and a tiger, and they tied it that soul should not roam around. And wherever, hereafter minded, wherever you are seeing such type of statues, know that a man has been killed here by the tiger. Here I said, काय हे दोन का नवरा बायको एकत्र मारले. So you can see this. And imagine after that, and then I got shock of my life because on those all roads I used to go for morning walks. Then मी म्हटलं आपला पुतळा व्हायचा एक दिवशी इथे. So imagine आपला किती लहान लहान गोष्टीवर डिपेंड असतं आणि सी एव्हरीवेअर दे आर देअर अँड दे आर वॉरशिप्ड आणि त्यांना चेननी बांधून ठेवलं असतं की देअर सोल शुड नॉट वेंडर अराउंड हिअर अँड देअर ॲट नाईट. सो द बिलीफ, सी imagine the number of temples. And these every temple indicates death of one person, and still they don't hate tigers. This is success. This is success of planning. Still they don't hate tigers.
So most of the conflicts look like along the road.
Obviously, because human movement is usually along the road, na. So obviously at the time of morning when they have to walk to their fields, at the time of evening they are coming back from their fields, they follow the roads. And unfortunately, if we plan something where their movements can be restricted in those hours, which is not happening. Like I said, the toilet, going out in the field for natural call, that is the time when they have to follow the road, and that is the time when tiger starts moving out. And coexistence, the classic example, means there is a tiger statue, and घरातल्या लग्नाची पहिली पत्रिका टायगरला होता. He is our family member. So they consider tiger as their family member. And this is success. This hasn't happened in one night. 30 years people are working on this entirely collectively to make this happen. Otherwise, tigers would have gone instinct. See, this happened. This is the photograph, fortunately not from Maharashtra. Rajasthan's photograph. One leopard accidentally entered into village, and this is his end. This is what will happen. रिसेंटली मीडियामध्ये ताडोबाच्या अनेक लोक असताना एक टायगर तिथे मंदिराभोवती फिरतो. तर हे इथलं मंदिर आहे. तर राईट इन द हार्ट ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट देर आर टेम्पल्स विच आर ओपन टू पीपल ऑन पर्टिक्युलर डे. देर अगेन वॉज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की आमचं दररोजचं टेम्पल आहे. इमॅजिन उद्यापासून दगडूशेठला जायचं नाही सांगितलं, अर्ध्या पुण्यामध्ये दंगली सुरू होतील. जस्ट बिकॉज यू हॅव टू कॉन्झर्व सेंटर पार्ट ऑफ द सिटी. इफ यू स्टॉप डुईंग सो इट वॉन्ट वर्क. All these things we have to understand how planning works. You can plan something, but to make that plan work actually, you have to understand people in that area. All these are local gods which are right in the forest. Right behind this temple, tigers and leopards and sloth bears moves. Still, people goes along with it. And then observe. Another most important aspect you learn in wildlife is मोबाईलचं नेटवर्क नसतं, त्यामुळे तुमचं लक्ष इन्स्टा फेसबुक असं कुठे नसतं. अनदर इम्पॉर्टंट आस्पेक्ट इज तुमचे सेन्सेस कामात येतात. मला जस्ट आय आस्क अ क्युरियस क्वेश्चन. लास्ट टाइम वेन यू हॅव टू यूज टू सर्वाइव इन सिटी, टू यूज युअर सेन्सेस लाईक हिअरिंग, स्मेलिंग अँड ऑल दोज थिंग्स? Hardly. We have forgotten. Then these things, unless and until, this is a paradise flycatcher, this is a nest, okay? So I asked my guide how this, now in photograph it may not be that clear. See the size of bird and see the nest size. Okay, first. Another aspect I asked is that the nest was shiny, extremely shiny. So I said, how can, first, how that nest is shining. Second, how that leaves and all those things are not, means they getting dispersed. How they are tied up with each other. Kudla bond वापरला. त्यांना तर कोणी सिमेंट कॉन्क्रीट आणून दिलं किंवा आरसी डिझाईन नाही त्यांना तिथे. ही सेड सर गेस्ट तुम्ही तर सिव्हिल इंजिनियर आहात ना, तर गाईड वॉज अ रेग्युलर गाईड विथ मी, तर तुम्ही तर सिव्हिल इंजिनियर आहात, कसं बांधलं असेल तुम्ही सांगा. इन माय ऑल लॉजिक I was unable to define ki that bird which don't have got any hands and anything else, how that could have managed to make that nest so strong and shiny, and what could be the binding material which is used for binding those leaves together. कोळ्याच्या जाळ्याने ते बांधलेलं आहे. That bird collects threads of sticky threads. कोळ्याचं जाळं एक्स्ट्रीमली स्टिकी असतं, त्याच्यामध्ये सिक्रेशननी कोळ्याच्या ते स्टिकी असतं, त्याच्यामुळे त्यात इन्सेक्ट अडकून बसतात. धिस बर्ड अंडरस्टँड इट अँड इट कलेक्ट्स कोळ्याच्या जाळी ऑल ओव्हर द फॉरेस्ट आणि त्याने ते तो बांधतो. इमॅजिन, याचा अर्थ जर तुम्ही कोळी प्रोटेक्ट नाही केले तर हा पक्षी एक्सटेंड होईल, बिकॉज इट वॉन्ट बी एबल टू बिल्ड इट्स नेस्ट. So this is how entire things are related in forest. This is how you learn. This is what planning is. And that's why this bird, the entire life cycle you start understanding, these birds makes nest only in August, September, because कोळ्यांचा ब्रीडिंग पिरियड आणि जाळी बांधण्याचा पिरियड हा मे, जून, जुलै असतो. सो त्यावेळेस मॅक्झिमम जाळे जंगलात असतात. सो दिस बर्ड कॅन कलेक्ट, देन इट कॅन बिल्ड इट्स नेस्ट, अँड देन it can hatch its eggs. Imagine egg species and how it is related to entire wildlife system. This is what we learn. And then I doubt तुमच्यातले किती लोकांनी हा किडा लहानपणी बघितला असेल किंवा मखमली किडा बघितला असेल. गावाकडच्यांना माहिती असेल, पुण्यामध्ये मातीच बघायला मिळत नाही, सो इट इज व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स, म्हणजे what you start understanding after visiting forest is nothing happens automatically. Nature is biggest town planner, and for his definition of town, town is not just one species. Entire universe are his clients for which it plans. Then you start understanding the importance of finest of the details. And another so many aspects you learn is, like you see this, सगळे माकडं पाणी पितात आहे, एक फक्त नाही पित आहे. Same thing happens if you observe. Same thing happens when a herd of deer come to water. All deer keep on drinking water. One deer is why? This is the time when you are most vulnerable for hunt by an animal like tiger, because it will attack from behind. If all started having their back behind forest, you are showing back to danger in a way. One guy is always there and it is leader. आपले ते leader सगळ्यात पहिले पाणी पिलं आणि बाकीचे मागे थांबते. Here, unless until all these finish drinking, this guy won't. It will keep eye on that side. So all such aspects, and then you get to see some very nice things in. म्हणजे मला 25 years I am wandering in forest, and I knew ki sloth bear carries its cubs on its back. I have never witnessed it because sloth bear is extremely shy animal, and it itself won't show you directly, and with cubs it is 10 times shy. So getting a sloth bear open and then getting a photograph carrying that cub on like kangaroo, फक्त ती पाठीवर कॅरी करते. So all these things makes you understand another aspect of tiger, which is very much important in our town planning. It always follows the path which has been taught to it by its mother. तुम्ही जर पेपरमध्ये वाचलं असेल मध्ये, तर टांझानियामध्ये हर्ड्स एलिफंटचे वर्षानुवर्ष दे मायग्रेट फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस. ओके, अँड फॉर thousands of years their paths are same. While planning cities in Tanzania and Kenya, the town planners study the paths of wildlife. And they see that रस्त्याच्या मधोमध, गावाच्या मधोमध जशी नदी सोडलेली आहे तसे वाईल्ड लाईफचे ट्रॅक मोकळे सोडले आहेत त्यांनी. का तर एलिफंटना, हू विल टेल देम, काल रात्रीपर्यंत मी इथनं जात होतो आणि सकाळी मी इथे आलो, मध्ये एक घर आलेलं आहे. माझ्याकडे गुगल नाही आहे एलिफंटकडे, जाऊ कुठे मी आता? अँड देन दे गेट डिस्टर्ब. देन आयदर दे गेट डिस्ट्रॅक्टेड फ्रॉम देअर पाथ or they disturb the human life. So this is how you accommodate, and this is why you have to study all these aspects. की what are the paths? हे कोणी तयार केले आहेत? हे कुठल्याही गुगलच्या मॅप्सवर नाही आहेत. You have to study them, and then you can change them. And this all has been done by ही क्लिप हे होते का? हां नाही ठीक आहे नंतर बघू मग तो एवढा. And then along with that you have to empower the locals. आता now coming to the main aspect of our thing की हे सगळं झालं वाईल्ड लाईफ विषयी. ओके, आतापर्यंत वॉट एव्हर स्लाइड्स यू आर सीन दे आर अबाउट ॲनिमल्स, देअर बिहेवियर्स अँड देअर नीड्स अँड ऑल दोज थिंग्स. What about needs of the people living over there? Unless and until you make them part of your planning, your entire planning will collapse. तिथली कंडिशन बघा यांची काय आहे या, कारण तिथे दुसरं खायला काय नाहीच आहे. यू देर इज नथिंग इफ यू डोंट feed them properly or create means of avenues. But what avenues you will create? There is no industry, there is no education institute like Symbiosis, CoEP, there is no jobs, there is nothing. तिथे कोणी हॉटेल काढू शकत नाही, स्टारबक्स नाही, nothing. दुर्गा पण नाही. How you make them survive? They promoted tourism in such a way that more and more tourists will come there. The only way of means is people coming to wildlife, spending some money on wildlife and give them some rozgar out of it. See the condition of their vehicles. Unless you and me won't go there, whatever purpose may be, to fun, wildlife photography, learn, anything, these guys won't survive. If they don't survive, forest won't survive. This is how you have to accommodate planning. See, या टाईपचे टुरिस्ट आले, त्यांना 2 पैसे मिळाले, then it will happen. Otherwise it won't. Then many times what we can do from here? That life is extraordinarily difficult. See, urban planning, the biggest hurdle in urban planning is for whom you plan. You plan for IT parks, you will end up making more IT parks. You plan for cars, you will end up making more freeways, highways and nothing, whatever you call. But then who will plan for these people? 10% only people are working with ITs and all those service industry and all them. 90% people are not accessible to any of these things. If you don't consider them as a part of your planning, it's a failure planning. Today or tomorrow it is bound to fail because 10% won't make survive 90%. Here, thinking of tiger as an apex, when we say plan for tiger, why it is said that plan for tiger? Tiger is an apex animal. If you want to make tiger survive, you have to survive this entire his ecosystem. Then you start making tiger survive. हे इथला लोकल मुलगा आहे त्या ताडोबाच्या बफर मधला बंटी म्हणून. ओके, हॅड इट बीन नॉट बीन प्रॉपर प्लॅनिंग इन प्लेस, हा पण BA MBA BE करायला पुण्याला आला असता आणि इथेच सेटल झाला असता माझ्यासारखा. नाव विथ दिस काइंड ऑफ इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर, नॉलेज, प्लॅनिंग, गव्हर्नमेंट सपोर्टेड हिम, local people supported him, planners, and he started his own resort. आज त्याच्या रिसॉर्टला नियर अबाउट 25-30 लोकल मुलं काम करतात आहे, विच अदरवाईज वुड हॅव मायग्रेटेड टू पुणे मुंबई. इथलं लोड वाढलं असतं, इथल्या टाउन प्लॅनरचे डोकोदुखी अजून वाढली असती आणि तिथे अजून टायगरचे प्रॉब्लेम वाढले असते. सो दिस इज व्हॉट अ प्लॅनिंग इज टू बॅलन्स द एंटायर थिंग. ओनली वे गोज थ्रू अवेअरनेस राईट फ्रॉम स्कूल. वाय दिस इज वाय आय चूज दिस पर्टिक्युलर सब्जेक्ट ओव्हर हिअर की आता तुम्ही अपेक्स लेवलला प्लॅनिंगच्या education, just you guys are master students of planning, you are at apex of education system. Everybody of you, if you understand what is planning actually and what you are going to plan, then and the journey starts right from there. And if you and me won't do that on their own, they are not going to do it. See, this is today's scenario. When I started going to Tadoba 25 years back, there were 2 gates, only 2 gates. Now, all these are the names which indicates entrance gate. Every gate indicates survival of at least 100 families. That is the success. Because one gate has got 20 gypsies. 20 gypsies means 100 tourists, means 20 drivers, 20 guides, near about 20 rooms in resort. 20 rooms of resort needs at least 30 people for supporting it. So one gate supports 100 families there. This is how a planning is done, and this is how the entire system survives. And then from here, many things can be done. You can see, sky is limit. What is your and my job? Make people know about such world exist, about such need of that world exist, and connect. That is planning. Otherwise, you will plan on paper, it will never work. As I say, this, if you want to see these things, these are also your client, not some builder or hotel wala and some government system and some government employment. They are not your clients. These are your clients. This is what we should understand. And now, one basic question which was never taught to me, how I am collected. Some 20-35 years back, when I started doing that, people used to laugh at me. पागल है का? इथे चांगल्या बिल्डिंग मान, पैसे कमाव, Mercedes घे. Why you have to do all these things? Nobody was there. Why I had to do? नशिबाने मला शौक होता, आवड होती. I started doing that. But now coming to our last part of it, मगाशी एवढे चांगले तुम्ही सगळे हे बघितले, छान. आता आपली गंमत बघा. हा माझ्या घराच्या मागचा फोटोग्राफ आहे. आऊलचा फोटोग्राफ काढायला लोकांना जंगलात जावं लागतं. आपल्या इथे ड्रेनेजच्या पाईपमध्ये बिचाऱ्यांनी घर केलं आहे. नागाच नाही ठेवलं आपण त्याला, राईट. या फोटोग्राफला प्राइज मिळालं होतं, बट आय डिडंट लाईक इट. लाईक मार्लन मॅन्डो रिफ्यूज गॉडफादर्स ऑस्कर. डू यू नो इट? मार्लन मॅन्डो रिफ्यूज गॉडफादर आस्पेक्ट बिकॉज फॉर दिस रोल आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू ग्लोरीफाय क्राइम. आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू गेट. ही रिफ्यूज टू टेक दॅट ऑस्कर. आय एम नॉट मार्लन मॅन्डो. हा फोटो मी म्हटलं फोटोग्राफ म्हणून प्राइजला खूप छान आहे, पण इट्स अ फेल्युअर ऑफ अर्बन प्लॅनिंग to create spaces for this bird in city. That's why it has to make hole in a drainage pipe, which is not a good thing. See, झाडांवरचा पोपट चांगला वाटतो का? Look at this. The entire premise मध्ये green फक्त त्याचा रंग आहे बिचारा. You open any social media reels about wildlife, elephant entering into homes. मध्ये एक क्लासिक इन्स्टावरती रील आली होती. एक लेपर्ड गॉट वँडर्ड इन अ विलेज अँड इट बिकॉज ऑफ हंगर अँड थर्स्ट इट वॉज लाईक डेज्ड ऑफ. तर लोक त्याच्या पाठीवर कुत्र्यासारखे बसून खेळत होते. एव्हरी डे. सी, हिअर कम्स युअर पार्ट नाव. हिअर कम्स युअर पार्ट. इफ वी हॅव सक्सिडेड टू मेक 3,500 tigers survive in our country, 2023 was the worst year in the history of India. 200 tigers died in 2023. And reason is students like you and me failed to make a proper planning where humans and tigers will survive entire level. Because most of them tigers, as I said, again coming back to the apex people reason of it, most of the tigers, they died because of the lack of space. We are able to make them grow. We are unable to plan something where they can survive when they grow. That is failure of planning. Every day our infrastructure is killing wildlife. This is a civet cat. This is one of the most rare animal. मी जंगलामध्ये 30 वेळा जर टायगर बघितला असेल तर एकदा सुद्धा civet cat दिसलेलं नाही आहे. And when I got to get photograph it, it is in this form. Some vehicle has road kills. Our worst planning part. See these news. What is this? Conflicts. हा तामिनी घाटातला फोटो. Poor fellow must not have got water and got stuck in some container. मुळशी हे उजनी धरणाचा फोटो आहे. कमी फ्लेमिंगो बघायला गेलेत तुमच्यातले कोणी कधी? You do go. Big one. You do go. One of the best water body around Pune. It is getting populated by this. And do you know what flamingo eat? Flamingo don't eat fish. Flamingo eat algae in the water, which needs clean water, because algae forms only in the water where sunlight filters to the bottom of the water reservoir. And if the water is polluted, oxygen level will get reduced. There won't be algae, there won't be flamingo. फ्लेमिंगोंना त्यांचा गुलाबी रंग अल्गीमुळे मिळतो. जर अल्गी नाही आली तर तुम्हाला करडे फ्लेमिंगो बघायला मिळतील. देअर वोंट बी, अग्निपंख हा शब्दच राहणार नाही. अँड रिझन विल बी वी फेल्ड ॲज अ प्लॅनर टू मेक अवर वॉटर रिझर्वायर सर्वाइव्ह फ्रॉम गेटिंग पोल्युटेड. What worst photograph? This is Pench Highway, Nagpur to Pench. Poor tiger has to make all these efforts. This has caught in a camera trap. तो कुठनं रस्ता क्रॉस करणार, राईट? One more. This is our city's condition. We are, see, पॉप्युलेशन आपल्या गरजांसाठी घरं बांधणं इज नॅचरल. एव्हरी ॲनिमल डज दॅट. बट व्हाईल डुईंग दॅट, डू यू नो दॅन व्हॉट इज द बिगेस्ट थ्रेट कमिंग ओव्हर बिकॉज ऑफ अवर 150 crore? तुमच्या समोरचे चॅलेंजेस तर इतके जास्ती आहेत माहिती आहे का इथून पुढे. 150 crore ह्युमन पॉप्युलेशनसाठी तुम्हाला प्लॅनिंग करायचं आहे तुमच्यातल्या प्रत्येकाला. अँड डुईंग दॅट, आपले घर, आपल्या गाड्या, आपले रस्ते, आपल्या फॅक्टऱ्या, आपल्या इंडस्ट्री, ह्याच्यात जर आपण फोकस करायला गेलो तर nobody has thought from where the food will come to feed these 150 crores. The agriculture land is getting reduced every day. सोडून द्या वाघ आणि बिबट्यांचं. What about us? How we are going to balance it if we don't control it and we don't plan properly? See, butterflies in the city are dying like this because they are not getting flowering plants for feeding their basic needs. These all photographs are in Pune, which I have clicked on the mobile camera deliberately. Now, coming to that, how you are going to make difference, because this is not taught in any of our syllabus books. First, read as much you can read. Second, listen wherever you get to talk. And when I say listen, it's not about some guest lecturer Sanjay Deshpande. Go to White, listen to what nature speaks with you. Go to open area, go speak to people who don't know what is planning, because they are the one whom you are planning actually. ज्यांना प्लॅनिंग म्हणजे काय माहिती आहे त्यांच्यासाठी प्लॅनिंग करणं फार सोपं आहे. But those who don't have got access to all those good things in life, for them you should plan. Second, travel. Travel as much you can. Go to the places where nobody goes. असं म्हणतात की आर्ट्सवाल्यांमध्ये या गोष्टी फार त्यांना प्राउडली म्हणतात की जो न देखे रवी वो देखे कवी. म्हणजे जे सूर्य पण जिथे पोचत नाही तिथे कवी पोचतो. खरा प्लॅनर तो असतो जिथे सूर्य काय चंद्र पण पोचू शकत नाही पण प्लॅनिंग पोचलं पाहिजे तुमचं, तर ते खरं प्लॅनिंग आहे. Express means write, speak, whatever you have done, share. Go share it, whatever you have understood, then you will go increase it. And lastly, त्याच्या या स्लाइड मध्ये आलं नाही, is act. कारण हे सगळं ठीक आहे, but if you don't convert into action, what is use of it? So all these things are, and unfortunately, as I say, don't expect that your teachers will teach everything. They will teach what have been part of your syllabus. But trust me, keeping due respect for their efforts, a real planner learns from everybody around, not with just what syllabus is. जर तुम्ही त्याच्यावर गेला तर त्या मार्कांवर समाधानी झालात तर you are killed planner in you is what I will feel. And as I say, ती स्लाइड याच्यामध्ये आली नाही की मगाशी मी जसं म्हटलं की if you are going to plan for a particular segment of society, you will end up developing or focusing or making things for that particular segment of society, and that's not a planning, that's a failure of planning. Instead, make environment as focus of your planning, and for that understand the term environment. And believe me, ती टर्म ना मी डिफाईन केली आहे, ना पानसे मॅडमने डिफाईन केली आहे, ना रावल सरांनी डिफाईन केली आहे. ती तुमची तुम्हाला डिफाईन करायची आहे. ती आम्ही कोणी डिफाईन नाही करणार, आम्ही तुम्हाला रस्ता दाखवू शकतो. एन्व्हायरमेंट प्लॅनिंगच्या डेफिनेशन तुमच्या तुम्हाला तयार करायच्या, त्या तुम्ही कशा करता याच्यावर तुमचं फ्युचर डिपेंड आहे. तुमचं म्हणजे आमच्या सगळ्यांचं आणि आपल्या सगळ्यांचं. ही जबाबदारी घेऊन जर तुम्ही सरकणार असाल, आय थिंक वी ॲज अ गाईड्स और ॲज अ टीचर आर सक्सेसफुल इन अ बिट. अदरवाइज युअर फेल्युअर जोक नाही करत. आय एम अ डार्ट फॅन ऑफ नेटफ्लिक्स अँड डाल्टन कॉमिक्स अँड डिस्नीज अँड एव्हरीथिंग मार्वल्स. ते जे सांगतात ना, थानोस येणार नाही कोणी इथे, आपणच थानोस असू आपले. हे जर नाही केलं तर, आणि देन जस्टिस लीग आणि गार्डियन्स ऑफ गॅलेक्सीवर असं कोण नसतं. प्लॅनिंग, द प्लॅनर्स विल बी युअर जस्टिस लीग, planners will be your guardian of galaxy, and planners will be your superheroes. And this is the responsibility this course brings on you. It's not just some normal course of engineering where you learn and you get paid. It is you have to evolve. I think that's all I wanted to share, because that's what I have understood from my academia and a school named Wildlife. Thank you very much. You can ask if anything.
They are promoting wildlife corridors, and there is very खरंच useful आहे की नाही?
They are, see, you are promoting समृद्धी. समृद्धी हायवे कशासाठी आहे? ह्युमन्सचं एका पर्टिक्युलर लोकॅलिटीचं ह्युमन्स प्रॉस्पर व्हावे आणि त्यांचा दुसऱ्या प्रॉस्पर्ड लोकॅलिटीशी कनेक्टिव्हिटी व्हावी म्हणून समृद्धी हायवे केला गेला, राईट? सेम वे, व्हाय वाईल्ड लाईफ इन फर्स्ट प्लेस मायग्रेट फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर फॉर बेटर लाईफ. एखाद्या ठिकाणी एखाद्या वाघांची संख्या वाढली तर त्या ठिकाणी दोन वाघ एकत्र राहू शकत नाही. सो दॅट वन टायगर हॅज टू मूव्ह समवेअर टू सर्व्हाइव्ह अँड प्रॉस्पर. सी, द डेफिनेशन ऑफ प्रॉस्पेरिटी, humans are the most greedy in defining definition of prosperity. That's why the prosperity terms exist only with humans. This no planning syllabus teaches us. But in nature, what is prosperity? You survived, you prospered. That's it. Why I have to come to Pune from Nagpur or from a town from Amravati? There was no job. Could I go back and do job at my hometown in Vidarbha? No. I have to stay alone in Pune. Same way, wildlife migrates from one place to another for survival, because for them survival is prosperity. And if you block their corridors, you are blocking their survival in first place. उद्या विचार करा, सगळी ग्रोथ फक्त पुण्यामध्येच राहिली आणि पुण्यासोबतचे कनेक्टिव्हिटीज तुम्ही तोडून टाकली. Which is going to work? No. Atta already you are seeing the chaos because of bad connectivity of air. We don't have a proper, every day there is a shout from industry about Pune not having a good international airport. What is international airport? It is our corridor to outer world. Same way those guys need corridor. And this is the plan of urban planners, to make corridors for every species, not just humans.
So as you have made some planning for saving tigers as well as humans also, how we can save their lives from hunting. What are the other planning done for other animals as tiger is going to eat?
Unfortunately, your question is pinpointed to the, like म्हणतो ना आपण त्याला nail in the head म्हणतो तसा आहे तो, की आत्ताशी कुठे we have got aware about tigers. It is too much time to go to doing, and for that's what I say, you travel, you read. Whereas cities in Europe or Germany, for that Germany is number one in environmental planning and environmental research also. In Germany they have gone to such level की त्यांच्या इथे जो डार्क फॉरेस्ट म्हणून एक एरिया आहे जर्मनीमध्ये, ज्याच्यातनं कनेक्टिव्हिटी आल्प्सला स्वित्झर्लंडला आहे, तिथे एका पर्टिक्युलर एरियामध्ये एक पर्टिक्युलर फ्रॉकची स्पेसी आहे, ती तिथेच सापडते. आणि त्यांचे जे ऑटोबॉन आहेत, जे स्पीडवे आहेत तिथे, तो बरोबर त्याच्या मधनं जात होता. आणि देन दे रिअलाइज की दॅट ऑटोबॉन हॅज कट डाऊन द हॅबिटॅट ऑफ दोज फ्रॉक्स, अँड द फ्रॉग्स ऑब्व्हियसली इमॅजिन मगाशी तुम्ही टायगर क्रॉस करताना बघितला हायवेच्या तिथे, बरोबर आहे. बेडकांसाठी तुम्ही काय प्लॅन करणार, कसं प्लॅन करणार? त्यांनी त्या पूर्ण स्ट्रेचमध्ये दोन्ही साईडच्या हायवेच्या ऑटोबॉनच्या स्पीकर सिस्टीम लावली, ज्याच्यावर बेडकांच्या त्या पर्टिक्युलर जातीच्या बेडकांचे आवाज काढले. त्या स्पीकरची चेन जंगलाच्या आतमध्ये नेली की रोड जवळ आलेला, आणि ते स्पीकर 24 hours ऑन असतात. त्या रोड जवळ आलेले बेडकं त्या आवाजाने रोडपासून डायव्हर्ट होतात. सी, इफ यू डिसाइड टू प्लॅन यू कॅन डू मिरॅकल्स. दिस इज द लेवल. फर्स्ट बेस्ट स्टेप आता घेतली गेली आहे. इफ यू हॅव रीड लास्ट वीक न्यूजपेपर, DRDO हॅज चेंज द रिडले टर्टलसाठी जे ब्रीडिंग पिरियड असतो आत्ताचा ओरिसाच्या बीचवरती, त्याच्या बाजूला DRDOचं मिसाईल टेस्टिंग व्हायचं. या वर्षीपासून त्यांनी तो स्पॉट बदलला, बिकॉज त्या व्हायब्रेशन्सनी रिडले कासवांच्या जेनेटिक्सवर परिणाम व्हायला लागला होता. सो आय थिंक दॅट्स वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट न्यूज आय हॅव एव्हर रीड इन इंडिया अबाउट सच टाइप ऑफ थिंग. सो अँड देन दॅट्स व्हॉट आय से ट्रॅव्हल. Because unless and until you don't go there, a tiger or any species is not going to come to you and tell their requirements to you. या माझ्या प्लॅनिंग रिक्वायरमेंट आहेत. आपल्याला ते जावं लागेल ना, त्याशिवाय आपल्याला कसं कळेल? दॅट्स वाय अ प्लॅनर मस्ट मूव्ह अराउंड अँड एव्हरीवेअर वेअर दोज गाईज कांट कम टू यू, दोज प्लेसेस आर मोर इम्पॉर्टंट. गो टू विलेजेस. म्हणजे कशाला इतकं लांब जायचं? इथनं 70-80 किलोमीटरवर वन ऑफ द बेस्ट हॅबिटॅट इन इंडिया आहे ग्रासलँड हॅबिटॅट म्हणून. इंदापूर दौंड त्या साईडला. दॅट इज अ रेन शॅडो एरिया अँड बेसिकली द हॅबिटॅट अँड फ्लोरा fauna over there has been developed as a dry arid area, not as a exactly desert but grassland. Grassland is a separate subject of forest. त्या ग्रासलँड मध्ये ज्या टाईपचे जनावर आहे, फॉर दॅट वुल्फ, इंडियन वुल्फ म्हणतो, ग्रेट इंडियन वुल्फ. Wolf can't survive in this kind of forest. Wolf happens to be only in grassland. आणि आता जर तू त्या ग्रासलँड मध्ये गेला ना, तर एव्हरी डे प्लॉटेड लेआउट चालू आहेत, कुठे JCBची खोदाई चालू आहे, कुठे कचरा डम्पिंग चालू आहे. द वुल्फ्स आर गेटिंग मॅड अँड मुव्हिंग लाईक हिअर अँड देअर. दे हॅव गॉट नो वेअर टू गो. दे आर पॅनिक. आणि आपल्याला वुल्फचं महत्वच कळत नाही. वुल्फ इज कन्सिडर्ड एज अ ग्रासलँड टायगर. So why just tiger? There are thousands of places which require our attention. So while we plan a layout in our such kind of habitat, which are private lands, we should accommodate. And हे कोण सांगणार? गुंठा मंदिराला तू सांगणार आहे? Unless and until त्या आर्किटेक्टनी आणि इंजिनियरने सांगितल्याशिवाय कसं कळेल त्याला? And this is why our role is much more important. Because unless and until you as a planner don't shout and don't make a stop sign, your client on your own, neither is a species over there. They both are not going to do anything about it. This is why our job, and this is why this subject. And हे आता नाही केलं तर there won't be no time now. The with speed with we are increasing and our needs are increasing, it is killing every other species.
Any more questions?
And please feel free anytime. My numbers are with Pratap sir. I will be more than happy to assist or guide or help in any way, share whatever it may be. And thanks once again is all I can say.
No, it's our pleasure, sir.
And I will give 2 of the books which I have written on the subject to sir, which will be with him. You can anytime read. माझी पिशवी नाही. Sir, this is from me to.
Thank you.
This is one book I wrote about wildlife, and this is specifically about urban planning. The name is Grey and Green. Grey simulates concrete, green simulates forest.
Thank you.
And I will introduce my team. My niece is with me, Tanisha Yekde, and she is an art student, but she has helped me with the PowerPoint. कारण मी जेव्हा इंजिनियर झालो तेव्हा Fortran 4 आणि कार्ड पंचिंगचं कॉम्प्युटर होतं. So I am still not comfortable with computers and PowerPoint presentation. She helped me to doing that. So I thought she should also come over here. आणि सर आणि ही जी मी बघायची तुम्हाला सांगितलं ही ग्रासलँड मधली यांना जरूर या मुलांना ग्रासलँडची व्हिजिट करून आला. इट विल बी अ learning for them about planning also. See, this is the wolf. And this is the habitat. तुम्ही मगाशी जंगलातले फोटो बघा आणि हे बघा किती वेगळं आहे एकदम. And this is hardly 60 kilometers from Pune. So one day also you can go, guys, go there. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah.
Look now, whatever we are teaching, first-hand information in environmental planning or those who are opted for sustainable development as a elective, I've been talking about all. And why, human habitat, we only consider human habitat, but there is also other habitat. We have to value that. That is very important. And that, Sanjay's whatever study is very helpful also. Especially when we make a zoning in RP, regional plan, which is a broader thing. That time these type of information are very much important. We have to take that into consideration when we say. Otherwise, what we always say that, okay, development means what? Make a zone, developable. Either, public, semi-public, or make it residential. That should not be attitude, and that's why, in last part of his lecture, he talked about, and somebody asked about, the migration of tigers. So important, over the year, if you know that the Western Ghat, tigers from the Kerala used to travel up to Maharashtra. Now whole habitat is destroyed. Now we have cut down that. So now we are confined them into small areas.
We have created natural jails.
Yeah, natural.
Practically natural jails.
So that's why today I talked about man-environment conflict also. Why elephants are coming into Amboli area.
Yeah.
Why they are coming? We have disturbed their habitat, so they will migrate. Their area of migration was very large. Now, since Sanjay told about that, when the Solapur highway expansion was there, the Mahaduk,
Great Indian Bustard, one of the rarest extinct birds, one of the rarest.
त्यांचे habitat सगळे disturb झाले. Now we have to conserve that. काही दिवसांनी ते Mahaduk disturb.
Entire India मध्ये 22 पक्षी शिल्लक आहेत.
22.
Imagine 150 crore humans and 22, and once there were thousands.
आणि आपण त्यांचं सगळं habitat disturb केलं का तर आपल्याला highway पाहिजे आणि त्याच्याबरोबर development. So these are the models of development. We have to rethink in that context. Thank you, Sanjay. Eye opener for them also. We always teach them, but this is eye opener for them also. First hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure.